Hey guys, welcome back to the farm. It has been a very busy sort of day today. I didn't even get into my second cup of coffee before we got started doing work out here. The number one thing for the day was to work on the fence for Sophie and Amos. Sophie is our miniature donkey and Amos is our miniature mule. And last week we put in some electric fencing for them to have a larger area to graze in and all of that. But we needed to put in a gate so that they would have access to that. And so that was the number one thing today. Good morning! So it is fence day. We are installing the gate for the Sophie and Amos area, and they'll be able to come out here to their new area. So today is the day. I don't know if they have ever been exposed to electric fences before. The fencing that we had them in was your ordinary 2x4 inch horse fencing, and we do have a hot wire around the top of that. And I do think Sophie has gotten popped by it a couple times, like on her nose. But this is a perimeter fence. This is a containment fence. And so we all, watched very carefully, made sure we were there when they were first exposed to the fence. And I have to tell you, Sophie's reaction was a little bit surprising. Don't gotta tell me twice.
No,
yeah, that's Sophie.
So you need to check this thing every other day to make sure it's not falling over. Yep, it's on. It's working. Sophie!
They did great. They've been out there enjoying that space all day long today, and they are really liking that. Now in the evening when we go out and we give treats and we refill their hay, we'll go ahead and close the gate and keep them contained inside their original area for the evening, and then we'll let them out again in the morning. But we are really happy that they have some more space now and that they have some fresh ground to graze on. So this morning I actually published my first garden tour of the season. I will be doing them every week like I have the last couple of years. I go through, I kind of film everything, and it's not a 100% exhaustive tour. I'm not going to show every single plant, but I do kind of give an overall look, and each week will be a little bit different. I'll maybe touch on some things that I'm working on, what I'm struggling with, or things like that, maybe whatever's new. And so every week is a little bit different. But if you watch that video, you may have noticed that this year I did something a little bit different. I actually decided to mulch a few of my beds with pine straw. Now normally I mulch everything with your classic wheat straw. A lot of times it's just old straw that I had used as bedding. Sometimes it's the bales I had used as the cold frame, but I'm actually still using that at this point. But this year I decided to mix it up a little bit. You know, a lot of the places around here were out of straw, but a lot of them still had pine straw, and so I thought, you know, tomatoes actually like slightly acidic soil, and because pine needles actually can contribute to a very slight acidity, I thought, you know, let's see how these tomatoes do with pine straw. So I do have several of the beds out here mulched with pine straw, and then I do have the in-ground beds as well as one of the raised beds out there that are all wheat straw. And so I'm going to kind of watch and see how they do, see if there's much of a difference. Now I do know that pine straw does last longer, it doesn't break down as quickly. So while these beds out here are mulched with the pine straw, next year when I plant, I will most likely have to pull the straw aside to get access to the soil, whereas these very same beds that were mulched with wheat straw last year, that straw has already broken down and you can't even really find much left of it, and so that'll be a slight difference. So we'll just have to see how it goes. You know, every year I experiment, every year I try something new. You know, I don't do the exact same thing every year. I try to expand my knowledge base, and you know, maybe the pine straw will be a total flop. We'll just have to wait and see. But you never know if you don't give it a try. I'm all about trying things out, even if it doesn't work out right. You know, as I've said many, many times in the past, it's not a failure, it's just a learning opportunity. And so we'll just have to see what we learned from this experience. Now I do have one other thing that I've been getting a lot of questions about. You may have noticed that very recently I got a new tattoo. Now, if tattoos aren't your thing, that's totally fine. I'm not going to argue whether you should or shouldn't. That's just one of those things you need to decide for yourself. But I've gotten a lot of comments about this one in particular, and people want to know what it is, what it means. So I went to the same artist that I went to for my Lion of Judah tattoo. He is a Christian. He is a believer, a bold, outspoken believer, and his shop is out in Crossville, Alabama, which is a little bit of a drive for me, but well worth the drive to go out there. And this new tattoo that I got is an olive branch, and I chose to have it done with 7 olives. You know, it's kind of funny because I knew I wanted an olive branch tattoo, and I searched and searched and searched, and I never quite found exactly what I was looking for. I had something in my mind of what I wanted, but I was trying to find a photo of that to show him what I wanted, and I never did find it. But he did have a drawing of an olive branch that I was happy with. You know, it wasn't what I wanted, but I would be happy with that one. So I went in and I you know, talked to him a little bit about what I was wanting, and he showed me the drawing again and said, "How many olives do you want?" And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, "Well, do you want 3? Do you want 5? Do you want 7? And he started mentioning, of course, the biblical significance of different numbers and what they mean in the Bible. And I chose to go with 7. Now, I was thinking it would look like the original drawing and just have 7 olives. Oh no. If you're not familiar with tattoos, Most often you will have an image that is already drawn, already prepped, and they create sort of a transfer of this design, and then they put like some sort of moisture on your arm and it transfers on like a temporary tattoo, except then they trace it with the actual tattoo gun to create the tattoo itself. And so most artists don't usually freehand a tattoo. But that's exactly what he did. And it's exactly what I wanted. Now when he got done doing it and I was like checking it out in the mirror and all that and just still flabbergasted that somehow exactly what I had in my mind somehow ended up on my arm, he handed me a gift. And this is not something he gives to everybody, and it's only because I allowed him to freehand a tattoo. Like I said, most people don't do that. This is what he gives to people who let him freehand a tattoo. I taped it in my Bible, and you'll see why. This is an olive leaf. And not just any olive leaf. It is an olive leaf from the Garden of Gethsemane. So I just thought that was incredibly special, and how apropos that what he gives to people is an olive leaf, and I got an olive branch tattoo. So of course, why did I want an olive branch tattoo? It is a reference to the wild vine that has been grafted in and is an equal partaker in the rich root of the olive tree. And it is something that I have wanted for a very long time, and I was very blessed to have found an artist who is gifted and is able to do it. And we are beginning to lose light here, so I need to head off and get ready to do my evening chores. So that is it for today. Thanks for joining me here at A Good Life Farm. I will talk to you all next time.